Welcome to my second episode of Pepperoni's podcast, my solo podcast. In this episode, we will be discussing the topic of loneliness. Loneliness is a very sad topic if you want to interpret it that way. And that's kind of how I interpret loneliness. But whenever you are lonely, what do you do? What are things that you do when you are lonely? Do you try and find solace in solitude? That is something that is going to be a main theme in today's episode. Finding solace in solitude. First off, I would like to talk about independence. How do you depend on others? Are you only dependent on others? Do you depend on others exclusively? Are you independent? Do you depend on yourself? Are you only independent? Do you only depend on yourself? You never need anybody else. I think that a balance of these two can really help you determine if you are going to be lonely or not. Because life is all about balance. And in order to find solace in solitude, you have to have a good amount of balance of both dependence and independence. You can't be completely independent, or else sometimes you'll feel lonely. Solace in solitude is not always about only being independent. It's all about a balance if you really think about it. You can't have too much of dependence and you can't have too much independence, or else it's gonna outweigh each other and you're gonna feel lonely some way. Because if you have too much dependence on others, when they leave, you're gonna be like, okay, where are they? Where are they when you need them? And if you have too much independence, you're never going to have the feeling of people being there for you. You're going to feel like that you're going through life alone when you're really not. The second topic that I would like to bring up is your mindset. Are you more of a pessimist or are you more of an optimist? Do you look at life in a negative way, or do you look at life in a positive way? Do you try and find the good things in life, or do you try and find the bad things in life? This matters to literally everything. You might feel more alone depending on whatever you say to this. If you find life as terrible, you're like, man, why do these things happen to me? I feel so alone. I have no friends. I have no friends that understand me. That's a pessimistic approach, and that's not always the good way to approach life. Although it can bring some realizations, you have to be optimistic about certain things, especially about being alone. You can't really be around someone all the time. If you're around people all the time, regardless or not, you might still feel lonely. You could still be around people and not feel not alone, if that makes sense. You can feel alone even when you're around with people. And I think that that's something that people think that, oh, I'm with my friends, so why do I even feel this way? You can still feel lonely. It's like I said, if you're too dependent or too independent, that can change that and that can alter that. Also, the mindset, it goes with the independence and the dependence on people. Are you nihilistic? Do you think that, oh, there's no point in everything is meaningless, there's no point in even making friends or even not feeling lonely? Because that really affects how you feel. If you're lonely and you're a nihilist, okay, well, that is literally the worst combination, because not only can this spark up depression, anxiety, and all that stuff, but it induces all these thoughts and all these feelings that you're like, man, nobody understands me. I've never been understood. I don't want to be here anymore. What am I doing with my life? It goes into that extreme. If you think that, oh, life has no meaning and you're alone and you are a pessimist at the same time, usually nihilistic people are pessimistic about life because they're like, oh, there's no point, so why would I, what's the point of looking at it a positive way? But if you're an existentialist, People put the meaning into it. If you're an existentialist, you put the meaning into your life. You put the meaning into your life. And with that being said, it really helps you with your creative standards, with your loneliness. Are you putting meaning into loneliness, or are you looking at it an optimistic way, or no? Because depending on this, it can change you as a person. It can help you find solace in solitude. It can help you be comfortable by being alone. It can help you feel comfortable whenever you have friends. It can help you appreciate the times that you have with friends, because you're not going to be with friends all the time, 24/7. You can be alone and still be with friends, but it depends on your mindset, and it depends on your dependence on people and yourself. With mindset and independence and dependence on people being said, what do you do in your life? What are your actions? Like, why do you feel lonely? What are you doing with your time? What are you doing with your free time? What are you listening to? What type of music are you listening to? Are you listening to sad music to make it worse? Are you listening to upbeat music to make you feel good? Like, what exactly are you doing? Are you exercising? Do you have a healthy diet? Are you hanging out with friends and family? Because that is one of the most important things. If you're not hanging out with friends and family, of course you're going to feel alone. You know, if you are alone, it's a lot harder to not feel alone when you're with friends and family. If you create good relationships with people, there's going to be less likely of a chance to feel alone with that person. Whenever someone is with their best friend, they feel less alone than they are with somebody that they don't know, with somebody that they don't share common interests with somebody that they just met, with somebody that they are unfamiliar with, and it's a mutual friend. It's gonna be harder to feel alone when you create stronger bonds with the people that you have in your life. Are you hanging out with people your age? Are you hanging out with people younger than you? Are you hanging out with people older than you? It all just depends. Do you have a significant other? Do you have a girlfriend, a boyfriend, whatever? Do you have a significant other that might be able to help, or they might be able to harm that loneliness? Because if you're not finding solace in solitude and you depend too much on, let's say, your significant other, it's going to be a lot harder to find solace in solitude or be happy with yourself if you're always depending on that person, especially when they leave. And if they do break up with you, or if you break up with them, or if you guys split for whatever reason it may be, it's going to be a lot harder to find solace in solitude. And it's going to be a lot harder to be not alone whenever you're by yourself. It's going to be a lot harder to not feel alone when you're with family and friends if you depend on another person, especially your significant other, too much. Are you always on your phone at 3 a.m. in the morning? Are you always spending time on your phone, spending time on video games, not really interacting with other people, even online? What are you doing in your free time? Are you listening to sad music? Like I said, not just sad music, but also TikTok videos, Instagram Reels, Shorts, Facebook, everything like that. If you're watching sad videos on your For You page, on your Explore page, whatever the case may be, don't expect to not feel sad, because it's just going to produce these emotions that are literally making you feel sad. If you're watching sad videos and you hear sad music all the time, don't expect to feel better, especially when it comes to feeling alone. When you feel alone and you kind of feed that negative energy, and you feed that negative energy with core videos on TikTok or Instagram, sad music, by hearing it all the time, you're not gonna get out of this loneliness. You're not gonna get out of the feeling of being alone, the feeling of feeling like nobody has you. You can't be feeding into these negative emotions. It can really harm you. And I say that with such passion because I know, like, I've been through something like that. And the reason why I'm talking about core videos or sad TikTok videos or stuff like that is because I went through something myself, that I was feeding into the negative energy all the time, and it never made me better at all. I was alone all the time. I made myself alone, even though I had people in my life that were willing to help. I never wanted to help myself, even though I knew I should have. But even then, if you're watching sad videos and you're never trying to get better yourself, you're not going to feel less alone. You're not going to find that solace in solitude. You're not going to be comfortable by being alone. You're always going to be searching for another person, searching for somebody to fill that void that you need to fill yourself. You need to understand that you have a void that you need to fill yourself. You need to fill that void, that empty space yourself. Nobody is going to fill it for you. And yes, that might sound, mean or harsh, but that's the truth. If you are depending on somebody and you feel completely terrible when you're alone, and that means you need to spend some time alone and work on yourself. And I know that kind of sounds ironic, the fact that I'm telling you to be alone in order to feel less alone. But in reality, you have to find comfort by being yourself. Find things that help you and make you happy. And once you have those things and you understand what you like as an individual, then it becomes a lot better. If you ever want to spend time with people and you're like, man, I really enjoy this myself. I don't care if they leave my life or not. I'm going to enjoy their company while they're here. It can help you. Your mindset matters. Are you pessimistic or are you optimistic? Like I said in the past, it just depends on everything. Everything really kind of depends. If you're not eating well, that can also cause depression. Lacking vitamins can cause depression. Lacking sunlight can cause depression. Are you getting enough sun? Are you spending all the time on your phone? Like I said, I know I'm kind of sounding redundant, but it really, all of your actions line up to if you feel good alone or if you feel depressed and you feel like there's no point in living in all this stuff. You have to find that purpose. You have to make that purpose. You have to want to get better. You have to want. I know, I'm sorry, I just said a mouthful, but you have to want to get better. You will never get better if you don't want to get better. Trust me. The fourth important thing is, who is your social circle consisted of? This is one of the most important things. If you do have a social circle, it's very important to see who it is and who they are associating with. What are they doing in their lives? Are they trying to help you get better? Are they trying to help you reach your goals? Or are they always influencing you to go party or go do whatever, do bad things, drink alcohol all the time, do drugs, whatever they may be doing? You need to pay attention to that. What are they saying? What are their thoughts? What are their beliefs? Everything like that matters when it comes to that. Are they working out? That could help you. If you don't work out, that could help you. If you find people that work out, they could influence you to work out. It's the same thing with people going to parties all the time. If you're not a partier and you hang out with a lot of partiers, it's a lot easier to go party because of the social circle that you are in. So do they know you also? Do they know you? Does it feel like they know you? Because if they don't, that is also helping the reason as to why you feel lonely. If you feel lonely, obviously, you need to think about your social circle and what is happening. Do they know you? Do they know when you feel lonely, or do they know when you zone out? Because if they do, that can help you a lot when it comes to being and feeling lonely. To wrap things up, if the effort isn't there in wanting to better yourself and wanting to find solace in solitude, the solace will never be found. But thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you all on the bright side.